Thoughts on giving kids allowance? Nah, that's an interesting discussion. I'm definitely going to give my kid an allowance. Let me give you my reasoning. Couple things. At least in present society, a lot of culture, for better or for worse, revolves around the act of purchasing things. Going to a store, buying something, going to a store, looking at something, deciding not to buy it, having the short-term urge to want to purchase something, and then weighing it versus the pain of losing a limited supply of money that you could instead use for anything else. Like, I think those are things, those are muscles that I want to train in my child in order to have them be good at it by the time they get to adulthood, or at least like, maybe not good at it, but like better at it than they otherwise would be. Also, like in high school, I don't want my kid to necessarily work. Maybe the summer's a different story. I do think that working teaches you good habits, and it gives you an appreciation and it broadens your skill set. But I think from ages 14 to 17, it would mostly benefit you long term to school max. That's just my way of thinking about it. So an allowance to say like, hey, you can still go see like movies with your friends, but I'm giving you money to basically allow you to be a full-time student, that's my current mental model. But my kid is already, they're only 2.5. So like she doesn't even, like she knows money exists, but like sometimes we'll walk by a bank and then she will be like, what's that? And I know that she knows, but I go, that's the bank. And then I say, what do you do at the bank? And she says, that's where you buy money. And you know what's interesting is that it's a very like Midwit sort of meme. Because like in the middle, you're probably like, wow, that's so silly. You think that you buy money at the bank. But if you're really stupid or really smart, that is kind of what you do at the bank. You are kind of buying money. That's not how we usually think about it, but you're usually like, you're either selling money to the bank to get back more later, or you're buying money at the bank to pay back more later. Or the bank's selling you money to pay it back, to buy, you know what I mean? I'm closer to the Midwit part of this, obviously, but. So how much are you going to give her? Well, here's the thing. I don't know how much a dollar really costs in like the year 2030. So I don't know. It depends on her GPA, to be honest with you. Oh, not good. Oh, fuck you. It's my kid. It's great when someone disagrees with you and could articulate it like very nicely, but instead you just go, Oh man, it just blows him out of the water. Are you gonna buy her a car? Nah, I don't really see the need for that. We got pretty good public transit here, man. I took the bus in the Isaac era. She can take the bus to the damn movie theater or something like that as a 17-year-old. I'll just give her like a gun. Or like some bear spray or something. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Like a lightsaber, something like that. I don't know. Like I feel like it changes, When your kid is 12, what should their allowance be? 1.5 video games a month. So what's that? It's like $100 Canadian, $125 Canadian. That seems fairly reasonable per month. I got $1 a week. Yeah, we're fucking old, dude. Are you out of touch? Are you jealous? We just give my 10-year-old kid $10 a month? They're gonna throw it in my face. They're gonna be like, "What am I gonna do with this? Save up for 2 months and buy lunch? Have you purchased anything outside recently?" Like giving your kid if your kid is old enough to be able to go into a store and buy something, you gotta give them at least $20 a month. Because you can't, even as a kid, you can't buy anything for $20 a month anymore. 20 a month is fine. I'm being honest, you're the one who's out of touch. I might be out of touch, but you're also out of touch, just in the opposite direction. $20 a month is that's like me as a kid getting like $1 a month. Like, I know inflation has not been 20x since the time that I was a kid in spite of my age. I'm just saying. Here's my thinking though, like let's say a 12-year-old getting $10 a week. That's basically like they can buy a lunch per week, but they can't buy anything else. And I should be paying for their lunches. Like I need to at least give them, if I'm going to give them an allowance, they should at least be able to buy something with it that's not 1 unit of food. Should be able to buy go see 2 movies a month and maybe get lunch with your friends afterwards. That would be minimum, we're talking $50 a month. 2 $15 movie tickets and then a $20 dinner at a restaurant next to the movie theater. We're not even adding concessions into that. At 12? Seems reasonable to me. Now you're saying $15 is too much for a movie ticket? Now you don't have a problem with me. You got a problem with where I live. And I wish I could change that. $40 a month for a 10-year-old? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? $40 in the modern era. It's adults in the chat. Adults in the chat who live in North America. Back me up a little bit here. Come on. She's 10. What movies is she going to see? So what's a fair allowance? What are you going to give your kid? I'm with you. People are being weird. Kids are so expensive. Everyone's going crazy for $40. Thank you. 25 bucks a week? Okay, see, that's more, and thus I support it. $40 is nothing. I would do like $80 a month. Nothing, I'm an anti-natalist. That's fine. I appreciate you wearing your heart on your sleeve on that one. 100 a month? See, that's what I was saying. 100 seems reasonable to me. When I was a kid, 13 years old, let's say, I got enough allowance that I could probably purchase 1 video game a month. Sometimes maybe if it was a big game, had to straddle like half of 1 month and then carry it over to the next month. And I was happy with it, honestly. I basically because my allowance was limited, I basically didn't spend money. Because I was like, I'm not getting another jolt of money until the next month. So I better make sure that I really, really want something I'm going to purchase. So I basically never purchased anything. And then that created like the opposite problem in me, which is probably better to have, where I was like, anybody who spends money on anything is dumber than me. And I'm just trying to help you get over that in the chat because I saw that in myself for a long time. I was like, well, it must be nice. You're buying cheddar cheese at the grocery store? What am I buying? I'm buying Kraft singles. I could afford cheddar cheese, but I would be a bad person if I paid money for it. No allowance for the first few years, 1K in a GIC at 4%. 5 years later, you have $1,200. And then what would I do? I would take 30 months and amortize out the GIC. Because now you got $1,200, but you can't give your kid $1,200. What's a kid going to do with $1,200? If anything, you should light all your money on fire because you don't want your kid to get used to it, right? Is that where we're going here? We love Faith Hill here. I heard she gives her kid $28 a month in an allowance, which is crazy because I want my kids not to be spoiled. Instead, I'm going to have my child be forced to get a part-time job while they're still in high school, tanking their GPA, and making sure they only get 5 hours of sleep per night. Shaq gives $0? Follow-up question. Are Shaq's kids 7 feet tall? If my kids were destined to be 7 feet tall, I probably would not give them an allowance. One is, that kid's not getting any allowance. Because he's got like an 80% chance of going to the NBA on name and height alone. He doesn't need the allowance. My kid is not going to be 7 feet tall. Realistically, she's probably going to be in like the 5'4" to... I mean, I don't know if I got 6 foot genes in me. I didn't have the best nutrition as a kid. Maybe they're on the passive allele. I don't know. Just realistically, she's probably going to be average height or maybe even a little bit below average height. She's got no sports-based scholarships coming her way unless she works her ass off. Okay, she's not going to be a jockey. She's not going to be an NBA basketball player. We're gonna need to instill some different habits in her. Is there any sport where it's advantageous to be 5'10"? Is there ever like a PBA bowling draft where they're like, and the best part? Yeah, their bowling IQ isn't that good, but you can't teach being 5'10". Shaq is also infamous for spending $1,000 a week on mobile games. Unpopular opinion, maybe. Is that funny? Yes. But it's Shaq's money. He made the money. It wouldn't be how I would spend $1,000 a week myself. Obviously, I would give that to my 2.5-year-old for an allowance. Or I would put it in a GIC so that 5 years from now I could give her $1,080 a week. By the way, I don't want to be slandered as someone who doesn't respect compound interest. I'm a great compound interest respecter. I'm not using a GIC. I'm using an RESP because it has tax advantages associated with it. I'm not going to buy a GIC with money I already paid tax on and then pay tax on the capital gains that I earned on the meager 4% return for my GIC. Not to mention the bank's getting a little on the front end. Are you crazy? That's what they got the special accounts for. 4%. This year we're up 15%. Listen, nobody wants to hear it, okay? I know because people are saying, shut up, please stop talking about this. No, I will never shut up. I will never shut up. That's my one promise to you. When the S&P 500 was at all-time highs and GICs were paying 0.25%, everybody said, why would I ever take a GIC? Give me that S&P 500. It only goes up. Okay, S&P 500 went down. At points last year, it was roughly 20% down. Rates came up. People said, why would I ever invest in the S&P 500? It's down 20% this year. Rates are at 5%. I take that all day, every day. Everybody piled into fucking rates, or GICs and CDs and stuff like that. Now you're getting 5%. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 is up like 18% year to date so far. You're market timing. You're not supposed to market time. Anyway, so how much allowance would I give my kid? I don't know. Honestly, I think I would... I think $125 Canadian a month for a 12-year-old. That seems appropriate, an appropriate alignment of me and my values, okay? I didn't get anything as a kid. Yeah, and now look at you. Sorry. That's what I'm trying to avoid, okay? +2, you got me. You probably do it all. You got great taste in content creators. I know that much. You know what? You're all right. You're all right. That's why you come to a comedy show, you don't sit in the front row, okay? In 10 years, that's not going to be worth very much. I think it would go without saying, Poindexter, that like when I talk, I'm talking about the present day. I'm not talking as if it's 2031 and then like retroactively adjusting it for inflation, okay? No, Chad, I'm talking about $125, 2031 dollars. You know, after 10 years of inflation that could be anywhere from -1 to +12%, so we have absolutely no frame of reference for what it's going to be. You can't adjust for future inflation. When I was 14, my dad told me to get a job, and then I did, and every day NL begged for some of my fries. That is a true story. Mouth is telling zero lies, to be honest. And here's the fucked up part. He gave them to me, which in many ways enabled that weakness. So who's really to blame in this situation? It makes you think. I also asked him for a piece of gum all the time. I'm sure I've given Malf some things. Probably less than he's given me, but I'm sure I've given him some things. I can't really imagine what it would be. I don't know. A lifetime of friendship that many would consider priceless. I did throw his granola bar into the woods once, yeah? But that was really funny. Okay, I did put a pickle in his beer. But that's because he took a bite of my burger. Or wait, did I take a bite of your burger and put a pickle in your beer? I can't remember. I didn't give him the clap, okay? If I gave him the clap, it wasn't me. And it wasn't the clap. I'm going Bison, I don't care. I thought you threw his burger too? That sounds right. I feel like feel like the way that this went down is that this all happened in one weekend. I think I said, can I have a bite of your Cliff Bar? And then when you gave it to me, I just yeeted it over the fence into the woods, which is actually, in my defense, if you saw that in a movie, you would be like, that is fucking hilarious. Now, in real life, it's not that funny because you're like, that's my Cliff Bar. But if you could look back as if you were an impartial observer, you gotta... We're still talking about it today, so I would say it was worth it, personally. Also, I believe then, after that, you harmlessly put a pickle in my beer. As if to say, look, there's a pickle in your beer. Look, there's a pickle in your beer. Got you back for the granola bar. And then I think I took offense to that and then I threw your burger on the ground. That was too far. I shouldn't have put the burger on the ground. I should have left it at throwing the bar into the woods, and then the compensation was the pickle in the beer. I should have been like, we're even. I had a tendency to escalate. I'd like to apologize retroactively for that. How old were you? I think I was 20. So it's like pretty young. Or pretty old, depending on your perspective, I guess. Like if you're 15, you're probably like, whoa, you were old. But if you're like 30, you're like, yeah, I get it. If you're like 15, you're like, when I'm 20, I'm going to be way smarter than that. No, you're fucking not, idiot. You're probably smarter now than you will be at 20, to be honest. But you're not ready for that conversation yet. The burger was not $20. This was like 2008 or 2009. It was probably like $13 with fries, okay? I still shouldn't have done it, but let's not start putting 2023 prices on 2009 dinners, okay? No, it didn't take Malf's allowance. He had a job, so he bought it with his own money. Why does that sound worse?
Took my bike to the lake. Brought my shovel, brought my rake. Took my boy to the swing. Let him swing, let them ring. Bought my friends Italian beef. Make them fart and make them queef. Abraham Lincoln was governor here. Only a steel man can be enough. You know what I'm talking about? Sufjan Stevens?